Hey guys, que paso? Yeah, we got Vinny Mozzarella. All right, that sounds like a good Italian name, Vinny Mozzarella. Can you get any more Italian than that, man? Is there anything better than mozzarella sticks? The answer, of course, is niet. No, there's not. Let's see. Have $1 million bucks combined between 401k. Yeah. So my man Vinny says he's got $1 million bucks. Can he? Does he need to work, man? No idea. No idea, baby. As Kim says, he'll have no idea. Needs to know your expenses. 100%, brother. 100% right, Kim. You got it. So Kim is reading "Spend to the End," an eye opener. I have it someplace over here. That's fantastic. I got a whole pile of books here. Let's see. Let me just share with you some books I got. I talked about this last time. Organic chemistry. I gave my man Ron from my Army days my books that I've written. All these I've written right here. And of course, Retiring the Wellington Fund. My daughter gave me for Christmas, Hershey. All right. Some interesting stuff on chocolate I want to share with you guys. Interesting. The Politically Incorrect Guide to the Civil War. Ooh, de Tocqueville, Democracy. All right, in America, de Tocqueville, read that in college. Oh, Hayek, Individualism and Economic Order. Huh? Steve Pressfield, The War of Art, Pressfield. All right, what else we got? There's a bunch of economic stuff up here. Oh, there's hey. Ooh, Cheryl Obermiller's Fraud Points book. Lots of stuff up here. My man Henry Hazlitt actually had a fiction book. I always like time travel books. I haven't read this book yet. I'm very much looking forward to it. So there you go. That's the stuff I got up on the reading on top of everything I got in the other area. One of these days I'm going to catch up, man. One of these days. I have the Nassim Nicholas Taleb thing where I have an anti-library. Every single time I read a book, 4 more gets added to the list. Right now I just got done reading let's see, I'll tell you. Finnegan. All my kids are here today. How cool is that? All right, so I'm reading now Stephen King's The Institute. Look, Stephen King's a big lib, I get you, but he writes well. I like his book. I like the way he writes. His books aren't as lib as he is. It's weird. Oh, don't forget. This book right here, Misbehavior of the Markets, Benoit Mandelbrot. Benoit. All right. Of course, everyone says, what book should I read about economics? Right there. Economics 1 Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. Economics 1 Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. But anyway, so I'm reading The Institute by Stephen King. A guy up in Maine writes books called Paul Doron, I like. And I just got done reading one, and I forgot what it was. Some lady who writes, what's her name? I'm not going to be able to remember. I forgot. Oh, man. I read a lot of books, and you should too. Reading is good for your mind, man. It soothes the mind. But you should not just read one. You need to read fiction and nonfiction. I'm stunned how many people don't read fiction. You know, like smart guys. Like you don't read any fiction. You just read nonfiction. They're like, I don't have time for fiction. It's like, dude, fiction is. I like fiction. All right, hold on. All right. Hold on a second. All right, hold on. Liam is texting me. All right, so you should read, man. Reading is just. Hold on a sec. I don't know. Oh boy. Hold on just a second, amigos. Hold on just a second. We're going to call Chloe live. This is the professionalism you come to expect at Heritage Wrestling. Hey, Coco, where are you?
We're in the living room with Finny.
Hey, can someone go downstairs try to help Liam? on the computer.
Chloe, it's choking him. No, it's not choking him.
You guys are on live on my live. Can y'all hear Chloe and Maddie?
Chloe, he's freaking out. No, he's not choking him. Jeez Louise. Okay, poor baby. Yes, Dad?
Can you help Liam downstairs real quick in the basement? Just for 2 seconds. Can you try?
Okay. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, girl. I got some of my teeth.
Stop, Daddy, stop.
Thanks, girl. Hold on a sec. Gotta get that out of my teeth. That's the professionalism you've come to know and love here. He's got done eating some Mexican food. All right. Let's go. Yeah, spend at the end is fantastic. All right. All right. Oops. In a row. Headed home. I just listened to a AC/DC. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll with Bon Scott. And they're playing live in 1976. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, hey, Hershey, PA. Scott, you're up in Hershey. All right. Is the idiot governor up there making you wear the masks? Dude, we're winning, man. Y'all feel it in the air? I tell you, I feel freaking great. It's sunny out. It's nice out. The freaking mask Nazis are on the run, and they don't know what to do. They're like, well, what do we do? What do we do? I was reading an article that came from Vox or something like that, some left-wing rag. Some lady was like 25 years old with her dad and her brother, and she lives in Long Island, New York, literally went outside to be around other people. She went to like a mall for the first time in over a year, and she was terrified. I'm sitting there thinking, what is that dad doing to that poor girl? I guess she's a girl, she's 25. She's not a girl, but I was like, what the hell? Now, maybe the dad's saying, look, just come on up. Maybe she's so scared that this is like her first ability to go outside. The dad, maybe so the dad is like, say, just, we'll call her Jane. Come on, Jane, just, take a step outside. It's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like when you first dip your toe in the water. But she was like 25. And she had written that this is the first time she had been around people in over a year. I said, this isn't right. This is bad. This is Fauci. Fauci has done horrible, evil things. Ooh, I want to share with you guys something. All right, hold on a sec. Ooh, man, I tell you, this is nuts, man. I'm telling you right now. So we're going to, right here. If you guys aren't following Brett Weinstein and Heather Hying, man, you got to. Because look, these guys were, and I say were, I don't think they are anymore. They're both biologists, real life scientists. And they got kicked off campus in Evergreen. These are the people that got kicked off campus in Evergreen when basically they said, if you're white, you can't show up to campus. Say, I don't follow that. I don't follow racist theory. As such, I'm going to campus. Anyway, it was a horrible situation. But they're libs true and true. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, when this stuff first started coming around, they weren't as anxious as others who should have known better, but they were anxious. And they were always anti-masks outside. So that was a big step. So they had some common sense, but they were real anxious. They've come around, dude. It's crazy. Look, they haven't come around like me, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't trust anyone with any of this crap. But I tell you, they did this episode today. I'm going to see if I can't put in the show notes. You've got to listen to this. You are going to realize how much of a scandal. I literally think people would go to jail if we ever had a full accounting. I really believe that. And the number one guy would be the head of the NIH. That's for damn sure, if you know what I'm talking about. Because there's some evil stuff happening here. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. Now, this will probably ban me off YouTube. It's so important. I don't even care anymore. It's so important. Find me over at Rumble. Find me over at BitChute. This I don't even care. This is just evil stuff that's happening. We're being perpetuated on our society, and it's because, let's put it this way: there's a large group of advertisers or large industry that's heavy into advertising, into media. And basically the advertising anymore isn't, it used to be the media, the newspapers and local TV would get their ads from realtors and car dealers and all that. A lot of that is gone. And so, especially for TV and whatnot, so there's they're relying on, car insurance, Geico, USAA. They're relying on local, the local trial lawyers, and one other group, which I'll let you figure out. And they pay a lot of money. And I'm telling you, man, there's some bad stuff happening. Can I prove it? Nope. Do I need to prove it? Nope. I am completely skeptical of what's going on. It's nuts. It's nuts. And it's you have to make up your own decision. I'm just going to share it. No, I'm not going to say anything like what I think. I just think you start hearing this perpetual. It's kind of like, of all the stories they did on Trump, it was always negative. At some point, you got to think there's a bias inherent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be a crazy right winger like me to say, has the New York Times ever written favorably on Trump? If the answer, of course, is 99% of the time, the answer is no. They're anti-Trump, if that makes sense. Has the AP ever written negatively on Hamas, for instance? If the answer is 99% of the time, the answer is no, then they're anti-Israel. This isn't rocket science here. And has the media ever written, or anyone ever written negatively on a group that advertises a lot of money when it comes to stuff? The answer, of course, not. So I want to share with you guys something. This is freaking. I don't know what's going on here, but it's not good, man. Right here. Is this it? Yeah. And I'll let you guys do the research on this. Is Poltifact. Now, remember, Poltifact called Joe Biden liar, liar, pants on fire. When during the H1N1, he said, I wouldn't fly. Respiratory diseases get past their sneezes on the plane, and the plane's a big enclosed tube, and I wouldn't fly. And he was actually right. Sniffy Joe was actually right for the first time in his life. And, of course, they all ridiculed him and said, how dare you? So here's a real-life doctor, and I'm not going to read this. You can read it yourself. So you can see what that says. I'm not going to read it out loud because I'm not sure if the algorithm can read what you're reading here. But fact-checking claim about the use of this to treat that. Some limited studies suggest that this can help treat that. Others show no significant impact. Many of the studies have small sample sizes and other limitations. Federal health and drug agencies that said that more research is needed before making a definitive conclusion about that's efficacy against this. The FDA has not approved that for the prevention or treatment of this. Well, the FDA also hasn't approved other than emergency approval, and we all know what emergency approval is, some other treatments. And those other treatments have to be big profit margins for some groups of people. This right here, the profit margin is gone now because the patents have been expired. And because the patent's been expired, there's a lot of, I'm just going to say, some interesting dynamics when it comes to even the observation if this can work or not. And apparently, it's in abundance, it's easy to make, and as such, there's no profit margin for a group that advertises like drunken sailors. The point is that we have this guy right here, who is a doctor, Dr. Pierre Corey, a critical care specialist and founder of Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, he's a group of doctors who advocate for that to treat this. And this guy's literally, he treats people all the time. And not only was he testified before the Senate on saying, why are we not looking more into this? And YouTube took the testimony down. They took the testimony. It's not just like he's posting something on Facebook. He's in front of the Senate. He was invited by a senator of the United States of America to testify on what he sees out there, and he was taken down. And I'm telling you, man, look, if you go back to Brett and Heather, these aren't freaking conspiracy theorists by any stretch. You called me that. Oh, my daughter just did. You can call me that all day long. But these are real live biologists with real live PhDs who real live study this crap. And they're like, what the hell is, and like Brett was friggin' pissed. He's like, what the hell is happening? And then they talk about Merck, because apparently Merck had the patent on it. And they said in 2020, Merck said, we don't know this is safe. You're like, whoa, that's not what you're saying. The whole thing is crazy. And so he goes, we're now in December. This is 3 to 4 months later. Mountains of data have emerged from many centers and countries around the world showing the miraculous effectiveness of this. It basically obliterates transmission of that. And if you take it, you will not get sick. Now, whether or not that's true or not, I'm not here to debate. I'm just here to think, Is that not worth at least investigating? Never mind not taking off freaking YouTube, but investigating to see if this can save lives. After a week of his testimony, U.S. FDA said that people should not take it. Well, a recent study examined the use of the drug in a laboratory study setting, but the additional testing was necessary to determine if it's appropriate. Have they tested it? And we know for a fact it's not going to harm you because people have been taking it for 50 years. A guy who found it won the Nobel Prize. Two guys found it, like the 1970s, won the Nobel Prize. Billions of doses of this stuff have been taken, and it's safe. Now, whether or not it'll fight, that I don't know. But this guy says it does. He says there's a correlation. Maybe the correlation doesn't lead to causation, but there's a correlation in the countries in Africa where they use this extensively. And the bad guy, you know what I'm talking about, the C19, is down and out. Is that correlation causation? We don't know. But it'd be worth trying to find out, would it not? But no, we can't. We got to give some experimental V. That's crazy. It's crazy. This is nuts. People's lives are at stake. And to say there might be a better alternative, it makes you a freaking conspiracy theorist. It's freaking insane. And anyway, so did I just put a link in that for that? You got to subscribe to Brett and Heather's thing. It's only once a week that they do a live stream. And look, you're not going to agree with everything they say. I mean, they're pretty big pro Vs, 100%, but not in this one. They said they're not taking it. And it's interesting because Brett just took that on the video today, as a matter of fact, or it was on yesterday. So I'm taking it. And these are guys who, trust me, they're not creationists. They're not Jenny McCarthy's. They're not Trumpsters, not in the least. But they just say this. Where is the evidence for all this nut? It's insane. And you will get mad. And you say, how many people have died because of false, potentially not, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say more. How many people have died because of what is happening? And it's sickening. It's sickening. And yet people still fall for it. Like that lady in Long Island. I'm 25. I haven't been around people for a year. They scare me. It's crazy. Anyway, so go ahead and subscribe to that thing. All right, real quick, and then we'll get some questions. I did want to share with you this right here. Isn't it interesting? Right here. So again, we got real live doctors talking about the other thing as a way to combat the bad thing. Scientists call for a deeper investigation into the origins of that. A letter published in a leading academic journal criticizes the finding of the World Health Organization, you think? And this is Dateline, what was this? May 13th. Prominent scientists are calling for a deeper investigation in the origins of that, including the possibility that a laboratory accident released a new coronavirus that caused a pandemic. In a letter published Thursday in the journal Science, an international group of 18 biologists, immunologists, and other scientists criticized the findings of a report released in March by the WHO into the pandemic's origin and called for more extensive evaluation of two leading hypotheses that the pandemic virus entered the human population and began spreading after escaping from a lab or jumping from an infected bat. The WHO-led team, which includes scientists from China and several other countries, reported no definitive proof of either hypothesis. As the scientists wrote, the team nevertheless concluded that an animal origin for the pandemic is likely, even though they have definitive proof of neither scenario. Let's see. And was the likelier scenario and devoted only 4 of the report's 313 pages to the possibility of a lab accident from Chinese scientists in China, funded by, I'll let you figure that one out. We must take the hypothesis about both natural laboratory spillover seriously until we have sufficient data. Well, I thought this was resolved. And Heather Hying was talking about this podcast of virology or something like that. Just all fake news, man, that they've been saying, if you believe that it did not come from a bat, you're a conspiracy theorist. And like just basically, mocking anyone who believes, wait, we haven't proven anything. The signatories include highly regarded scientists who are actively involved in SARS-CoV-2, the virus causing a pandemic, such as Jesse Bloom, a computational biologist. Ralph, this is what Heather and Brett we're talking about. Ralph Barrick, a coronavirus researcher, has collaborated with scientists at the Wuhan lab. So he's a coronavirus researcher who has collaborated with scientists at the Wuhan Institution of Virology at China. The letter is the latest one of the most visible pushes for a more rigorous investigation of the origin of the pandemic following the World Health Organization report. The report had been criticized for deeming a lab accident extremely unlikely despite a lack of access to records or data to reach such a conclusion. Scientists have also expressed concerns that the team was unable to obtain raw epidemiological data on the first confirmed cases of COVID. Anyway, so this whole thing is nuts, man. Nuts. Oh, we got the dogs that join us, and they all can. I mean, I'm telling you, man. And now we have a gain of function stuff, and someone said in front of a sworn testimony in front of the Senate that the NIH did not fund gain of function studies in Wuhan. That could be bad. You're not supposed to be lying under oath. If memory serves, I know for if you're on the right, if you lie under oath or lie to an FBI agent, you can go to jail for many, many years. I know if you're on the left, you don't. I get it. But if you're on the right, you are. So you're going to jail if you lie under oath or you lie to an FBI agent. If you're on the left, you're really not supposed to lie under oath. Really is supposed to be. So, man, we'll see. That's crazy, though, man. All right. So let's just something else I'm reading real quick. Right here. My wife shared this with me earlier today. This is of interest. Right here. This is a boneyard near Paris, France, with hundreds of electric-powered vehicles. Mind you, these are the only cars used by the city of Paris and not personal vehicles. So there they are, hundreds of them. These are the only cars used by the city of Paris and they're not personal. All these have the same issue. The battery storage cells have given out and need to be replaced. Why not just replace the batteries then, huh? Well, two reasons. First, the battery storage cells cost almost double what the vehicle costs, brand spanking new. And second, no landfill or disposals will allow the batteries to be disposed of there. So these green fairy tale electric cars are all sitting in vacant lots while the batteries drain toxins in the ground. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. But that looks like they're not moving around much. They certainly aren't being used actively in any kind of fleet. It's a fleet of a graveyard. I don't know if it's true, but there we go. So you can discount that if you want. But at the end of the day, there is a boneyard or graveyard of electric vehicles in Paris that aren't being used. And you can see right here, these are not being, you're not parallel parking like that. They're just being put up together because no one can fix them because the batteries cost more than the cars. This is according to this guy. Is he true? I don't know, but it's interesting, is it not? So anyway, and we all know that the battery stuff on the electric vehicles is all, let's just put it this way. A lot to overcome there before we're all driving the batteries. Never mind all the stuff they got to mine, the lithium batteries, the lithium, child slave labor in Africa. Never mind how you dispose of them. Never mind how long do they take for them to replace all that. The idea of a 1,000,000-mile battery is just silly. Anyway, so let's keep going. So I thought that was interesting. Lastly, I haven't read this article yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll just share what I'm reading, then we'll get cracking. Let's see. Right here. Oh, cute polar bears. Chomped on was an octopus. Look at those. So cute. So cute. How are polar bears doing 15 years after the IUCN declared them vulnerable to extinction? The beginning of this month was the 15th year anniversary. The IUCN declared polar bears vulnerable because of climate change. The first time such a designation has ever been made. It is based on the opinion of polar bear specialists who examined the vague information available at the time and decide that in 45 years, the bears might be in serious trouble. This decision changed the way the IUCN assessed species risk and led to mass confusion for the general public, who falsely assumed that polar bear numbers had declined by a huge amount. So cute. Look at that. So cute. Look at that. Look at it. Man, he is jacked. Imagine him coming to your house that night. No, look at that. Good night. The Polar Bear Specialist Group was created in 1968 as a unit of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, who developed a red list of threatened and endangered species. All right. Let's see. And we'll keep going down here. Let's keep going. Without a shred of irony, the 1 May 2006, the IUCN reported 2 familiar animals among the 530 added to the list of endangered species that year. The polar bear, informed by climate models that their numbers would be declined by more than 30% over the next 45 years, and the common hippo, based on actual decline of more than 95% of Congo. Both were listed to be as vulnerable, one based on facts of the catastrophic local decline, and the other based on prophecy. Polar bears and hippos on an extinction path. Oh, man, I love hippos. Don't freaking kill the hippos. Using future threats based on climate models to declare the species threatened with extinction had never been done before by the IUCN or anyone else. Fossil fuel addiction driving polar bears to extinction, says the World Wrestling Foundation, or the World Wrestling WWF. Remember, it's actually it used to be that. It's the WWE now. The Worldwide Wrestling, I forgot. World Wildlife Fund. Polar bears gain vulnerable status, says CBC. Nature, polar bears sink deeper into danger. All right. Let's see. All right, I want to see what the. Oh, so cute. Now in 2021, polar bears numbers are the highest they've been in 60 years. Recent surveys would put the global average about 30,000, up a little from 26,000, but not by a significant amount. However, a plausible argument can be made this number is likely to be much higher, possibly as much as 58,000. Red list status for polar bears in 2006 provided employment for biologists and increased donations for conservation charities, but nothing for the bears that the international treaty hadn't already done. Protection from overhunting was what the bears needed. Most populations are still recovering from the wanton slaughter that started more than a century ago. In other words, there's no positive effect on bears from being listed on IUCN. They're already well protected by the national laws and international treaties put into place. Certainly, the concern for future polar bear survival is always about predicted low sea level ice levels in the future. But even after 15 years of moderately low summer sea ice, we have not seen any species-wide effects that could be attributed to climate change. Yeah. So the alcohol kissed my butt. Anyway, so the polar bear catastrophe that never happened, this guy's got a book on. So there you go. Just good stuff. Anyway, we're in a good place in this world, and the good guys are winning, man. The good guys are winning, that's for sure. So I like being on the good guy team because I like to win. And you be on the good guy team when you don't use emotions to drive your thoughts. You use research, skepticism, and you do some research. Say, that doesn't make that much sense. If we all just throw in with the commies, the world would be good. No, so that's not good. That's not research. That's emotions. Let's do some research, shall we? And let's do some thinking, some clear level thinking, and not read what freaking Fauci says or Elon Musk or who's Biden or Trump for that matter. Let's think about this a little bit more in detail. Say, and I will tell you, for those who believe in a good book, I would invite you to do the same thing. You got to read what the naysayers think about this good book and say, maybe they have something, a validity I need to look into. That will strengthen your faith. Trust me, man, it will. If you go into it like, I don't want to hear anything negative on the Bible, that's not faith. That's not faith. That's what the naysayers on, the masks and all this is. They're just saying, well, they say it's true. It must be true. No, they use scientists as their priest, if that makes sense, because they fall under the religion of scientism. And don't do that. So, all right, let's see what we got here. So let's read some comments, shall we? All right. Actually, let's see. Did the Bruins win last night? Let's take a gander. Who? Where? Oh, well, can you wipe it up? Huh? All right, so, Tampa and Florida in the playoffs? All right, that's pretty interesting. Oh, the Bruins lost the Caps last night in OT. I still like the Caps, but I'm still just a Bees fan. OT. Vancouver beat Edmonton. All right. The Islanders beat the Pens in OT. Minnesota beat the Vegas Knights in OT. All right. So hockey season is on. The playoffs, all good in the hood. St. Louis and Colorado. That's gonna be a good series. All right, cool. All right, let's see what we got here, man. All right. How much should I be saving to reach 1.3 million? I don't know, man. I don't know how much you'd be saving to reach 1.3 million. You got to get a trusty calculator, kind of figure that out. Brett, retiring at the end of this week. Right on. Hey! You can stay in the great place of Virginia, Brett? Look at that puppy dog with his sunglasses on. Right on, man. That's freaking awesome. That is awesome. Congrats, brother. Hershey, PA in the house. Right on, right on. Not still in your RV, I think. So she says, how much should we be saving to reach 1.3 million in 7 years? Well, let's take our trusty calculator. We say 1.3 divided by 7. You should be saving 185,000 a year. There you go. 185,000 a year. If you want to save 1.3 million in 7 years, you need 185,000 a year. Hey, Mary Beth, que paso? Oh, I got Kindle. Dude, I got tons of stuff on Kindle, Vic. Yeah. Eric says, can I ask a random question? Well, he just did. That's random. Tell me about Sue Verde. I saw it at Costco and saw what you're doing. Sous verde, what the hell? Sous vide? Oh man, I love sous vide. Absolutely. Ooh, they got sous vide at Costco, and I won't have to wear my mask. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh man, yeah, sous vide is fantastic, Eric. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Sous vide. Let's see what they got. They got some sous vide machines on Costco. So let's see here, shall we, folks, ladies and germs? My man Eric from, we won't hold him against him that he's in love with Aaron Rodgers, but what are you gonna do, man? Men got to be men. All right, so we got a sous vide machine on sale for 200 schmackers. Oh man, I'd be getting that too. Ooh, yeah, and it's got this. You're gonna want this right here, by the way, Eric. So definitely get this little thing. I mean, you can create your own little one. I just haven't got around to it, but you're definitely going to want it. If you can get one of the box right there, I would. With that cooking thing. What the hell? I definitely get that. Yeah, that's fantastic. 199 schmackers. Dude, I love it, man. Look, yeah, Amazon, 200. I tell you, Costco freaking kicks ass and take names. That's why when they mandated me wearing the mask, I still wear the mask because Costco has been good to me. That's all there is to it. I'm a big fan, first time, long time. I know they're big libs. I know they're out of Seattle. I know they're freaking scared of their own shadow, and they probably preach SJW stuff. But look, if they're going to preach SJW stuff and give me good prices on good quality stuff, more power to them. The problem is most SJW stuff, they give you crap prices on crap products. And they still preach it. At least Costco, man. So yeah, I'd be getting that 2 seconds flat, dude. Dude, you will love it. I'm telling you. You can take any crappy piece of meat and freaking make it. Oh, it's fantastic. I haven't used it for a couple of weeks. All right. What's my 1 year return on investment? Man, I got no idea. I think he might be talking. LB might be talking to Demarius. All right, here's Sherry. I'm divorced for 10 years. How do I find out how much Social Security I get from my ex as he is his income? Well, when you go to file for your Social Security, you say, I am a divorcee, 10 years of marriage, and here's my Social Security number, and here's his Social Security number. They can look him up, and they'll tell you right there. Just go talk to Social Security. You don't want to call, most likely, Sherry. You want to go down in person and talk to somebody down there once they open back up. But definitely, it doesn't matter if he hit it. It doesn't matter. I mean, the issue is if he hit it and not paid taxes on it, then you're kind of SOL because Social Security is based on the taxes he paid into it. If he didn't pay into it, he didn't pay the payroll tax, then, you're not going to get much of a benefit. That's just a fact. Let me turn my fan on. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Yeah, I got tons of stuff on my Kindle, man. All my fiction's on Kindle. All my nonfiction's is in hard copy. Especially, the banning people, the freaking Nazis are out there, the book burners, and they want to ban lots of stuff, trust me. So, Tom says, I need help figuring out my retirement. Any recommendations for an advisor? Yeah, I mean, you just got to look around. I would, if they don't put their fees on the front page, I'd keep looking, man. That's for sure. So just keep looking. I mean, you're going to find somebody that will look good in terms of they're explicitly stating their fees on the front page of the website, or at least on a fee section. That's for sure. Pretty basic question here. We're thinking of moving our cash to post-tax brokerage account. All right. If we need it for an emergency, can we put it out of Vanguard VOO in a 1 to to 2, is that 1 to 2 weeks? I'm not sure what you're saying, Sandra. If we need it for an emergency, can we pull it out of Vanguard in the ETF in a 1 to 2, I'm assuming, weeks? Yes. So let me look. Please, no one else do this because I'm just dumb. But I don't keep that much cash. I keep it all in my M1 account and my Vanguard VT. No, I don't have VTV in that. I have VTI. That's my emergency account. It's just that simple. And the reason for that is because, hey, I hope I don't need to tap into it, but I'm willing to take the risk. Let's just say I got $100,000 in there, just for simplicity, because I'm plugging money away. Oh, by the way, I have a home equity line of credit as well. All right, so I have that accessible. I have a little bit of cash. I don't keep a huge amount. I keep 3 months of mortgage in cash. So if your mortgage is $2,000, I keep $6,000 in an emergency fund. The mortgage is the only thing for me that matters. As long as I have that covered, I feel good. I really, really do. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. That doesn't mean it's right for you. It means it's right for me. If I have my mortgage for 3 months, I don't know what it is, but my mortgage is the thing that drives me more than anything. And I talked about my man Ron, who I was in the Army with, yesterday and today down in Georgia. And right now, Townsend, Georgia. Is that what's called? Townsend or Richmond? Townsend, Georgia. Yeah. And that's, we're talking just not having a mortgage, dude. I've never not having a mortgage. I mean, I have when we rented a couple months, but that's it. And I just, man, not having a mortgage is like my goal. And we're it was a lot of people. It was his birthday too. So he had a lot of his homeboys over there. And so we didn't really get too much of a chance to yap, but it was fun when we did. But same thing, he's like thinking he's working on paying down his mortgage. Me too, man. But the problem with paying down your mortgage is that you still gotta have some cash on the side because you can't eat your equity until you turn to cash. Hey, buddy, look at this guy. Don't you just love him? Look at Pablo. Hey. You can't eat your equity until you turn to cash. And how do you turn to cash? Well, you borrow against it. Well, how do you borrow against it? Well, you have to have what's called debt to income. And if you have no income because you've been fired or something like that, you're not getting a loan from the bank, if that makes sense. That's why you always take a home equity line before you quit your crappy old job. So that way you secure that line of credit as a reserve just in case. I hope that makes sense. Some guys say, you talk out of both sides of your mouth. You should not have any debt, but you're all saying people have home equity line of credit. And it's like, whatever, dude. So I banned him. Did I ban that guy? I think I said you're obviously new here. So I'll give you one more idiotic thing to say, and then I'm going to ban you. I'm going to start banning more people when they start talking idiotic. I'm tired of idiots. I just really am. It's just, look, and I get new people that come to the channel all the time. One guy said, you never talked about Social Security, the horrible rate of return, blah, blah, blah. I said, you're new here. And that's not a bannable offense. But, when you start talking smack, hold on just a second. Both my dogs have ants in their pants. They can't keep still. So they're coming in and out. Anyway, so I'm just like, dude, shut up. I'm tired of the idiots. It bores me. It bores me. It's annoying. So I'm going to start banning more people who talk smack. Yeah, I don't even care if you're a liberal. I banned Fear the Turtle the other day because I hate when just out of nowhere people say, what do you think about Trump? Dude, this has nothing to do, like, come on, man. There's nothing to do with anything. It just bores me. Like, if you're going to be perpetuating silliness and fear-mongering on the channel, I'm going to ban you. This isn't the place for fear-mongering. I'm just sorry. It's not. If you're going to be perpetuating that stuff, I'm going to ban you because this is the anti-fear-mongering channel. It really is. And that's why we dive deep into research on things like climate change is the fear-mongering, COVID is the fear-mongering, and then retirement planning is the fear-mongering. Now, I hate to say expertise, my background is in financial planning, but I'm an interested and curious guy. So I read other stuff too. And, that's why I talk about it. I talk about climate change. I talk about electricity generation because it's interesting to me, but I don't talk about nearly as much as I talk about financial planning because this is where my heart's heart is. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fool. I said, man, fear-mongering on climate change, the fear-mongering on COVID, and the fear-mongering on retirement planning. I'm missing one other one too. I forgot. But anyway, so we're going to talk about it. If you start getting fear-mongering, well, you're not welcome at the anti-fear-mongering channel. It's just not. Anyway, point being, I have no money in cash other than 3 months of mortgage payment. That's it. Everything else is a VTI in my M1 account, and I have an IRA. I'm not adding anything more to my IRA, if that makes sense. So I have my IRA, my VTI, a little bit of cash, and that is it. And thankfully, I did not have my VTI in cash last year because I made a crap load of money. 100% return on my money, as you did too. Not because I'm so smart, it's just because of markets. And so if you make money, you're like, great. So let's just say you start with 50,000. We'll just use that for an example, and it's not true, but just say $50,000 of February of last year. Wake up today, I got $100,000 in there. All right, so I've doubled my money. Now the market falls, I don't know, 50%. Pretty extreme, but let's just say it did. I'm back to $50,000. I'm back to where I was. Now let's say I get laid off, or you guys hate me, or YouTube bans me, and everyone hates me. No one likes me anymore. They say, that guy Josh, what a clown. He's talking both sides of the mouth. I can't stand that guy. Let's say BLM comes over and or the I don't know, whatever, they come over, they put a roadblock around my house. You know what I'm saying? And I no longer have internet, so I can't make any money. And so at that point, I still got $50,000 in cash, right where I was before. And so I'm comfortable taking that risk because A, it's not likely. B, I'm still adding money to it, if that makes sense. I'm still plugging money away. So and I tell you, I just wish I wish people understood the two dichotomies. It's not a false dichotomy. There's a dichotomy. If you look at the old-fashioned bell curve, that's a pretty crappy bell curve, I know. But just think of the old-fashioned bell curve. You're adding money, and then you're taking money out. So you're adding. So this is where you are as work, retired, if that makes sense. So you're adding money while you're working, adding money while you're working, adding money while you're working. And then you hit retirement, you're taking. Two completely like the mirror images of things that you got to look at. So you say, okay, well, I'm adding money to my portfolio. Pablo, you come here and show everybody how cute you are. And as such, the only time you're actually not adding money to your portfolio is when you're laid off. If that's not likely to happen, and it probably isn't, especially in this day and age. In fact, I was talking to my man Ron. He runs a big plant down there. I can't say what company. They have a hell of a time finding people. So you're not likely to get laid off. Now you could if you work in some crappy white collar job, for trying to be a history professor, research assistant. Yeah, you're going to be replaced, man. No other way around that. As rightly you should. But if you're working a real job, you're not likely to get laid off. And as such, it's okay to take more risk and put money into a growth oriented account. So that way you can have it continue going up, ideally. But when you retire, you don't want that. So when you retire, because it's the exact opposite, you're pulling money out. That's when you really got to make sure you got the 4 years of cash. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's don't know what Spronky's is, but I see he's so we'll block him. All right. Yeah, poetry doesn't do much to me, even though I did read a poem. I forgot who it was the other day. Isn't Stephen King a guy running up in mainstream? I'm not sure what you mean there, D. Hey, Northwest Florida. Right on, man. All right. Oh, man, we're buff. Yeah, I find right on, Doug. Find fiction being escaped from the realities of the world. Exactly. All right. So here's Demaria. She started at 185. All right, so we take our trusty calculator. I got sneaky suspicion we're being played here. So what I mean by that, there's no way she can't figure out how to do this on her own. But we'll give her a shot in the pants here. Or a shot in the pants. Shot in the arm. A jab. What the hell's a shot in the pants? All right, so anyway. So we take our trusty calculator. And the reason I say I have a sneaky suspicion I'm being played is because I guarantee she can quickly figure this out. And frankly, I'll do this because it's simple. But if you can't figure this out on your own and you want somebody on YouTube to tell you how to do it, that means you're being lazy. I'm not trying to bang on you here. What's her name? Demarius. But this is where some basic research on your part needs to get done. Some basic attempts, some basic effort. This is your money, not mine. You see what I'm saying? If you can't take a couple seconds to figure all this out, and this is the third time you've asked this question, or fourth time, I think. Yeah, fourth time. That there's something fishy here. But we'll play the game for a second. We're gonna go 185 is our present value. You always want to do negative present value, all right? We're going to make sure we have one as our payments per year. All right, so one payments per year. Yep. Okay, good. And then we're going to do $1 million is our future value, and we're going to get 7% rate of return. We're going to compute payment. So you got to put in 600. Was that 6,000? Was 6,900? Is that a month? 6,900 a month to get that. And so what we do, $6,900 a month. 69 is our payment. Oops, 6,900 is our payment. And we have a zero present, where we have 185,000 as our present value. And we got 84 payments. And we're getting 7% rate of return. And there we go. We're going to have, oops, I got to do this. Compute 24, 12. There we go. Compute future value. So we got $6,900 is our payment. 185,000 is our present value. 7% is our interest. 84. And we're right at $1 million. So there you go. So that I did that pretty quickly. So if my numbers are wrong, sue me. But there you go. So that'll say what I say, a 7% rate of return. Is that what we said? So if you got, I can't remember what frankly don't care that much. But and you can, that's how you do it. You just mess around with these things. It's fun. I like doing that, but I probably got that wrong. I don't really care that much. All right, we got, saw Kevin here. Oh man, miss Kevin. Man. Should we get out of stocks? Why? The fear. There we go. So Liam and Kevin, I missed your question. If you want to ask again, I don't know why I can't get back to it, man. Damn, I hate that. The fear-mongering call for hyperinflation seems stretched. Is 4.2% really something to be worried about? Yeah, it's something to be worried about, Liam. I mean, absolutely, but it's certainly not hyperinflation. Hyperinflation, even the Carter/Nixon /LBJ years, is really Nixon. It's really Nixon. I mean, let's call it what it is. Carter was only 4 years, and he was part of it, I grant you. But it's Nixon and LBJ, essentially, if that makes sense. Anyway, that wasn't hyperinflation. That's high inflation. It certainly wasn't hyperinflation. This whole thing is just fear mongering. It's nuts. It's it's the weirdest thing. But people have a need to be feared. I mean, just you see it with your very own eyes. Even after the CDC with their insanity, they're saying don't. That whole thing's done. So people are still saying I'm going to wear my mask because I'm still scared. But I say wait. You wearing your mask was supposed to protect me. Me wearing my mask was supposed to protect you. So why would you wear your mask if you're scared? The whole thing's weird. Yeah, Fauci, what a clown. Right on, James. Why would I? Why? All right, get out of stocks. Why? What are you going to do? I mean, I don't know. Come on, man. Let's think this through a little bit. Get out of stocks and do what? Do what? Go to cash? Why? Because the market is going to crash? Dude, you know how many times the market is going to crash? It's going to crash. I assure you the market will crash. I guarantee it. It will happen. When, where, how, no one knows. When it stops, no one knows. So here's what I always say to people. If we're here, all right, let's just say we're right here today. We're right here. And you say the market is going to crash, all right? So the market is going to crash. Then what happens? Well, all right, so here we are now. The market crashed. What's going to happen then? The market is going to do one of three things. It's going to stay here forever. It's going to level off. It'll go down more. All right. Oops. I'm going that way. Or it's going to go up. One of those three things. So if it stays here forever, is that likely? Okay. Well, if it is, then probably get out of stocks. Where's the evidence of that? There is none. Does it stay down forever? Well, it could. I mean, Japan got smoked. It happened in Bolsheviks. It happened in China. It happened all, Venezuela and whatnot. It could, absolutely. The question is, if that happens, do you really think cash is going to provide you a reprieve? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, what's the dollar? What's the ruble? Was the Chinese dollar before Mao? Was it Cheng Shang? Was the Cheng? You know what I'm talking about. The guy who went over to Taiwan. Cheng Shang Kai? I can't remember. But anyway, well, I don't even know what the Chinese currency was before Mao took over. The Cuba, when Bautista got deposed and Castro came in, was a Cuban worth. I mean, the whole thing's nuts. You know, hell, in Argentina, never mind Venezuela. So anyway, so you could do that. I mean, you could say, okay, well, I'm going down here because I think at the end of the day, you know, the stocks are going to get hammered. So they're going to go to cash. Like, okay, so if stocks go hammer and stay down forever, what happens to your cash? I don't know. So one thing I do think about. So in that video, that article I was sharing with you before about the insanity of some of the media advertiser companies. And what I mean is the people who spend tons of money to convince you to put stuff in your body that you might not otherwise need. And they spend big bucks. And if you think they have no sway in the media, you're crazy. All right, let's just say, for instance, some of these companies we'll just pretend that some of these companies are corrupt as the day is long. All right. So what would you do differently? Well, I'm going to buy cash. Okay, is that going to solve the issue of hyperinflation? No. Is it going to solve the issue of a safe haven to protect your assets? Well, no, because cash will be doomed just like anything else if the market never comes back around, right? So what would you do? The only other option would be real estate. And I mean, literally physically real estate, not real estate investment trust. You know, gold could be I'm a big fan of gold, no other way around that. But if you're getting out of stocks, well, hell's bells, you better be getting into some real asset. I mean, real asset, raw land, gold, something, real. Put some of that stock profits into some solar panels for sure, something like that. Absolutely. Because the idea that you're going to have a financial asset to protect you when the Bolsheviks come, and I'm using the Bolsheviks as all encompassing, when everything is going to hell, a la many, many different countries in our past. Stocks, bonds, freaking real estate investment trusts, none of that. Any kind of intangible asset, a paper asset, you're not going to be protected. So on the other hand, if you think, well, I just got to ride out the negative stock decline and then I'll get back in when things level off, what people always mean, when I said, when does things level off? So here, check it out. So we're here. They'll say, well, the market's done great. I'm going to get out now and I'll get back in when things level off. All right. So here you are. So you got out here. You call that good. When do things level off? All right. Have things leveled off here? Have things leveled off here? You really think in March of 2009, things seemed leveling off? Do you really believe things leveled off then? No. No one thought things had leveled off on March 9th, 2009. No one thought things leveled off in March of 2003. No one did. And you won't either. All right, so where do things level off? Well, of course they level off, Josh, when things get back here. So that's what always happens. When I'm back to even, things level off. I say, well, why get out to begin with? If you know that things are going to come back here, and the preponderance of evidence is that will happen. Now, again, I'm not one of these evidence-based investors because I don't know, but I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, again, if you truly believe the financial markets are collapsing, you should get out of the financial markets. That's bonds, cash, everything, including banks. However, you think things are going to get bad for a little bit, but then they're going to come back and level off, and that's when you get back in. That makes no sense to me at all. A guy last week posted on the same YouTube channel. He said he got out in 2008, and he said, should he get back in? And I chastised that guy. I said, dude, you're freaking 12 years late, brother. What the hell? I chastise him. And I mean, just because once you get out, it's like getting a divorce. I was reading, did you know? They say 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Well, the reason why that's kind of bogus, because it assumes that all marriages end in divorce. Like the marriage is what causes half of them to be in divorce. It's not. It's the people in those marriages. So you have some repeat offenders, if that makes sense. My mom and my dad both got married twice. And my mom got divorced twice, if that makes sense. Did my dad get divorced? I'm not even sure if he's still married. I think he is. But anyway, so my mom and my dad, 5 people were spouses between my mom and my dad, if that makes sense. All right, now me and Charlotte, we're going to celebrate our 22nd here in August. So I mean, you see what I'm saying? So of the marriages, how many between Charlotte and me, mom, dad? So 20% of our marriages 80% of our marriages end up in divorce. However, that's not a good way to look at it because we have my mom, my dad, that's one marriage, and me and Charlotte's two marriages. But my mom and my dad are repeat offenders, if that makes sense. So that's a bad way to look at it, man. That's a bad way to look at it. And it's the same thing with the markets. You're sitting there. Oh, that's what I was going to say. But it actually is even worse than that. If you were married in the 1990s, all right, 70% of those marriages are still intact today. And Charlotte and I were married in 1999. 70% of marriages are still intact if you were married in the 1990s. So again, you could say, well, yeah, 50% of all marriages might end up in divorce. But if you were married in the 90s, there's a high probability you're still married to your initial spouse, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. One of the reasons they get married older and whatnot, don't have as many kids. I get all that, but still, I think there's some interesting dynamics there. Point being is, if we think the markets are going to fall and be chaotic forever, trust me, at the bottom of the market isn't when things have leveled off. Because like Warren Buffett said, no one rings a bell to say this is the bottom of the market. Yeah, Sven. Sven says, can we do a 3-bucket system with cash, Wells, and Wellington? I got no qualm with that at all, man. Absolutely. So you got basically you're doing 50-50, I don't know, you're doing 50-50 stock to bond and we'll say 20% cash. That might be a little bit too conservative for me, frankly. I usually don't like the 50 in bonds, frankly, but I get it. I don't have any qualm with that at all. That'll be a tough portfolio to beat. It really will. I mean, see, this is the issue though, man. When you're retired, you're not I even got to tell myself this all the time. Being conservative in retirement isn't the worst thing. It's just not. I got to change my dynamics. I mean, I always say, well, we're not getting enough growth. That's why I like VTI and 4 years cash. But Wellington, Wellesley, and cash is a wonderful portfolio that says, man, you are not going to swing for the fences, but you're never going to strike out with the bases loaded. All right. Now, you might pop up. You might do a sacrifice bunt, but you're never going to strike out with the bases loaded, if that makes sense. And there's a lot to be said for that. Now, you shouldn't do that while you're still, in my opinion, throwing money into the kitty there. You're still building. Man, you got build. We're Bob the Builder. We can fix it. It's Victor Harrison. Keep bitching. All right. Let's ban we'll block old Victor. Right on, Tom. You're a good man, Tom. I don't care that you're in Maryland. All right. So, what are some ways to use my capital gains for business? All right. What are some ways I can use my capital gains for business or real estate capital gains shelter? The capital gains. Biden still allows right now the 1031 exchanges on real estate, but I'm not an expert in that in any stretch of imagination. Frankly, I don't know why people are so hesitant to just pay the stupid capital gains and be done with it. It's weird to me. I mean, look, I get it. People do 1031s all the time. I don't find that all that. I'm not a fan of it. If you talk to clients who've got in 1031s and they've deferred capital gains on other sales of real estate in this piece of property they're in now, and they're somewhat tied to it now because they have all these deferred gains. It's like, oh, if I sell it, I tell you, I like to travel light, my friends. Maybe it's because I was literally in the light infantry. You're traveling light, actually, so you don't have heavy mech. But light infantry, you're just traveling with your rucksack on. That's it. It's not very light. But at the end of the day, I like to travel light. Get rid of all that baggage. And one of the baggage is capital gains from unrealized capital gains. Just pay them, pay the 15% and move on. But I don't. Oh, bosses. Wait, whoa. I just saw, Bruce Brian. What the hell, man? Freaking got banned Brian. Dude. Brian. Which is worse, Bitcoin, Hillary, progressives in the house, or the devil? Well, the devil, of course. Carl, Yeah, we banned Victor. If he's new here, he's just gone. Yeah, right on Caps. Yeah. But Brian, jeez Louise, blue cheese. You just said Boston wins in overtime. Then you say Caps win. Brian is Fauci's brother. Brian's Fauci's brother, if that makes sense. Man, Brian, dude. He says Brian Case is actually Brian Fauci. I'm goofing on you, Brian. You're a good guy. I don't care what your brother Anthony says. I thought I was on. Well, I don't watch, but I still pull for the Bees pulverizer. I literally don't watch, but if the Bees win, I'm happy. Hell, if the Caps win, I'm happy. But where I knew as a Bees fan instead of the Caps is I was doing a seminar in Hershey, PA. As a matter of fact, they're Scott. I was in Hershey, PA, back in me and my man Rich in 2011, 12, 11, 10. I can't remember. Man, we're right around that. And we were doing a seminar in Hershey, and I was driving home back to New Jersey, and the Bruins were playing the Caps in the playoffs, and it went into overtime. And I can't remember who won, but I was like, ooh, because I grew up with the Bees when I lived in Maine, and I was a huge Caps fan when I lived in D.C. area in Silver Spring, because I used to go see the Landover see the Caps all the time, Capitol Center. And it crushed me with Pat LaFontaine, that freaking, the Easter Massacre by the New York Islanders with Pat LaFontaine. Oh, my God, killed me. And the Caps could never get past the Pens, man. And 1 year we did. 1 year we came back from being down 3-1. I say we because I was on the team. But we gave up 2 or 3 series to the Pens when we were up 3-1. We did come back once against them when we were up 3-1. But it's horrible, horrible. Anyway, long story short, so I'll never forget. I'm driving back on the PA Turnpike, and the Bees are playing the Caps. And I just remember I was rooting for the Bees. I said, I guess I'm more of a Bees fan than I am a Caps fan. I guess, the teams you grow up with at the beginning, you never abandon, if that makes sense. And, the black and gold, man, just love it. But I love the Caps. I was happy to see the Caps win the Cup. The Sox win the World Series in 2004 was emotional for me. I'm not going to lie to you. That was emotional. The Bees win the Cup was pretty emotional. That we were in Disney when that happened. They beat the Canucks after being down 0-2. And they came back and won 4-3 or 4. I think they won in 7 at Vancouver. It was. That was fantastic. That was emotional. But the Sox won the World Series, and then of course the Pats winning, touchdown Tommy. That was emotional when the Pats lost to the Giants. Not uno, but dos times. I was emotional. I was hurt. It was weird. I can't lie to you. I was hurt. It pained me. That's why I just said, this doesn't make me feel good. When my team wins, I feel good. When my team loses, I feel 3 times worse than when my team wins. Why? I don't know why. People say, why do you get so emotional? I mean, just some men are like that. I imagine some ladies are too, but men are more emotionally, you follow the team throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? You see Pasternak and you're like, man, is he going to get 50, maybe 60 goals? You're like, you follow. This is what makes baseball and hockey, and even football for that matter, but you follow the teams, you follow the scouting reports, you follow the free agencies, you follow the drafts. You get to be part of the team, man. It's nuts. And you just, you these are individual people that you're rooting for. So, and it hurts you when they lose. Like freaking 39, Danny Woodhead. A short white guy from North Dakota State scored a touchdown in this 2011 Super Bowl. I'll never forget what he didn't spike it, just kind of did like that. And he never got a chance to be a running back. And then Belichick, like always, gave the underdog a chance. And he freaking kicked ass and took name in that year. And I was like, man, if Danny Woodhead could win a freaking Super Bowl, how awesome would that be? Because you got to go for the underdog. And just when, John Pierre-Paul and freaking Strahan, they just don't forget the Giants were only 9-7 that year. 9-7. Oh, and they beat Green Bay on a last-second freaking pass at the end of the first half. They beat San Francisco because the freaking punt returner for the 49ers fumbled it. And the Pats were, that wasn't their undefeated year, but the Giants were 9-7. But the year the Pats were 18-0 and freaking David Tyree, that hurt, man. That hurt. I'm still to this day, I'm just like, oh. Fido says save 1.3 billion a year, you get there quick. So why are we getting new people? I mean, I love new people on here, but why are we getting a lot of new people asking odd questions? Are we being trolled here, my friends? I kind of think we are, actually. Interesting. So so I appreciate Tom, y'all. If these guys have things that I'm not catching up to them, if you want to share your knowledge, by all means do so. I just man, and people can come and go as they please. It's up to them. But I enjoy it, and it's fun for me. And so I just yap, and people come and go as they please. It's cool. But yeah, it's some weird. That guy. Hey, Plants on Purpose. Haven't seen you for a while. I remember old Plants. I'm sure it's the same person. All right, this looks like a good question. And I'm also, why are we getting? I don't know if this is her right there, but I'm also this odd because we got this person right here. All right, so we're getting some. Yeah, it's weird because look, man. At the end of the day, YouTube is dominated by men, if that makes sense. So to get a couple good-looking ladies back to back who are asking questions seems, I don't know, man. It seems awful odd to me. All of a sudden out of nowhere. So, but I remember Plants on Purpose. That name rings a bell to me. So I think she's legit. I'm not so sure this person's legit here. I don't know. That's yeah, I'm not so sure. And if you know what I'm talking about, you see these trolls that put pictures of hot chicks. They'll say, go to this website for, I don't know, how to make $1 million on Bitcoin or something like that. So I don't know. But Plants on Purpose, I think, is legit. All right. So she's saying 5% of her income on her employer match and 5% to her Roth. Thanks to your employer. Yeah, right on. Are these percentages a good mix? 5% of my income that my employer. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, is it a good match? A good, yeah. So you're putting 5%. They're putting 5%. That's 10%. You're putting 5% in your Roth. That's 15%. Absolutely. The way you know it's not a good mix is if you're accumulating debt. That means you're saving too much and spending too much. Literally, you're spending too much and you're putting too much in money and saving. Don't do that. Now, it's not a good mix if you're a cash account because, you look like a young lady. So imagine you're pretty young. So you shouldn't be building up significant amount of cash. So we have two things we can see. It's not a good mix if your debt level is growing. And the reason it's growing, obviously you're spending, but you're saving too much. It's also not a good mix if your cash level is growing more than you really need. So anyway, good stuff there. That's a good question. Yeah, sous vide. Eric, I'm a big fan. DeWalt battery tools. Yeah, here we go. So this person again has the same thing. That's a troll. I don't care what anybody says. All right. I'm investing 30% plus paying down. Yeah, right. That's freaking awesome, David. You're kicking butt, taking me. Yeah, dude. Yep. Sous vide cook. It's amazing. I haven't used it for a while. It's weird, man. Josh, does it make sense to pay an advisory fee to full service financial advisor once investment portfolio hits $5 million? Is there a value having someone invest assets and manage tax efficiently? No, there's no value there at all, man. I mean, look. I mean, at the end of the day, my man Amar, who I love to death. All right, some people have a value in hiring somebody to help them with everything. Most people do not. And the people who do, I do not discount their need. I do not say, oh my, I don't look, man. Some people have value added. Some people pay me my fee for financial planning. Should they need to? I mean, no, it's up to them. The vast majority of people do not need to hire some guy to run their money for tax efficient management. They just don't, because ETFs serve that purpose for sure. You need to understand tax location. Now, with that said, there are people like my man Amar. He does elaborate estate planning, tax. I don't think he prepares, but real deep tax dive planning, like kind of what I do in financial planning. But he does it in the context of actually managing portfolios as well. And he does, he's a lot more on you like white on rice. I am not on my clients at all. We talk. They email me when they want to chat. I don't follow up with them. I don't say, here's some strategies on taking advantage of, Fauci retiring, because the market is going to boom once Fauci retires. Nothing like that. Because Frank, I don't think you need to. I think look, I don't even know what my portfolio does at the time. People say, hey, Josh, it's the market. I don't know. I don't check the markets that much. I mean, I do because I'm doing a YouTube channel. I'll say, hey, like for instance, Elon Musk says something about Bitcoin. I did a video on that earlier. Let's take a gander at Bitcoin now. I do find that of interest. The whole Bitcoin thing is just it's silly to me. It's just weird. But was Bitcoin at 48,000 or what? Ooh, 45,000. Yeah, Bitcoin's just getting smoked. How's that not a dump and pump? And I don't know. I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything. So SEC, not that you care, but I don't get it. So Elon Musk says, a few weeks ago, we bought some Bitcoin. Notice we bought some Bitcoin or whatever it was. So we bought some Bitcoin. Now we're accepting Bitcoin for Tesla. And then a few weeks later, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore because Bitcoin uses too much energy in mining. And then the implication is he's already sold some of a position after the stock. This whole thing is weird to me. It's not right, man. And my man Sergio, I don't think Sergio comes around that much anymore. I wish he would. I like Sergio. He talked about my man Ray Lucia, who got put in front of the SEC, and basically his life was ruined, and he ended up winning. Thank the good Lord. But it's again, the process is the punishment for doing nothing. The whole thing is nuts, man. It's just the SEC goes after the low hanging fruit. FINRA goes after the low hanging fruit. You know who they don't go after? They don't go after the big corporations. Why? Because big corporations pay their salaries. It's just that simple. Crazy. Costco has deals on Clips speakers. Let's get rid of Sven. Hans, you still don't know what SJW is? Social justice warrior. The big libs, the big woke brigades, man. Hans, you know that. Come on. I'm not sure what a Clips speaker is. $1,000 at a discount. All right. What's a good stable value fund? Whatever they got in your 401k. Just got a new job 5 weeks ago. Had to go through diversity training. 6 hours of torture. Don't say who your company. Yeah, right on, Harry. Yeah, Carl's laying the freaking hammer down. Carl's got my PVC pipe. He's taking Victor to the woodshed, saying "kaboom." Right on. Small cap ETF or mutual fund. I like ETFs just because the inherent tax advantage in there, Sean. But Vanguard, index mutual fund, NAESX, that's a small cap index. That's fine. I get no qualm with that at all. I own personally VBK. So just as a disclosure, that is my small cap growth ETF. That's me. I don't own any small cap value ETFs. Maybe one day I will, but I don't right now. The ETFs I just like. And the reason for that is because I buy it once, I'm kind of done with it. No, that's not true. I have those ETFs at M1. So M1 allows you to, I can't remember how it works. It works great, though, because I'm not going to get in the account and trade every time I make a deposit. I'm not doing that. M1 does that for you. Drawback about ETF is it's not an open-ended investment. So mutual funds are open-ended investments that until the company stops, any money they get, they issue more shares to redeem your deposit, if that makes sense. ETFs trade like a stock, man. And so you're buying and selling ETFs with the amount that's out there already established, if that makes sense. So they can't, I hate to say inflate the share price. It's not like that. But ETFs are closed end. I mean, they don't issue more shares to meet the demand. Open-end mutual funds like that. They just say, you send us $1,000, we're going to create more shares to give you $1,000 worth of our fund, if that makes sense. So it's a lot more, there's an ease of distributions, taking money out and put money in, which I like. All right, Jack, right on, man. Does Wellington have a buy-in minimum? $3,000? I don't know. $3,000, I think. If the marginal tax rate is going to be the same before and after retirement, does it make sense to convert an IRA to a Roth? Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. In fact, someone should write a book about that. Oh, tax bomb in your retirement, man. Tax bomb in your retirement account. Right there. Talk all about it. 100%. Was Victor still griping? What the hell, man? What justifies my turning a Roth IRA into a Roth? Da, 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 da. Read my book. Read my book. It's only 75 pages. Actually, yeah, 75 pages. Easy read. That's it. Just lots of freaking stuff in there that's going to make you say, damn, I did not know that guy Josh was so smart. It's not that I'm smart. It's just I pay attention. Again, folks, if you're married filing jointly, you need to consider Roth conversions. There's no other way around that because you will be a single taxpayer at some point. Either you or your better half, Charlotte, will be a single taxpayer. And the difference between married tax brackets and single is insane when it comes to not just a tax bracket, but also Social Security, IRMA, and of course, if you're trying to leave money downstream to the kiddos, you want them to inherit Roth IRAs. Now, you don't do that. All right, so I want to draw this up again. You don't do this. All right. You don't say, I'm going to pay. So here's my tax bracket right here. All right, I'm down here. I'm going to convert to pay a higher tax bracket today, all right, so that way I can leave my kid a lower tax bracket in the future. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't want that. What we want to do is that we want to say, look, man, if our tax bracket is going to be like this, so it's low today, it's going to be high tomorrow when my wife dies, all right, or I die. All right, we don't necessarily want that. So what we'd want to do is we want to kind of split the difference. Oh, that looks like almost like a swastika. We want to split this. Oh my goodness, see, he's a Nazi, look. And we want to split the difference and basically flatten it out if we could. But notice how we still have less room. We're still a little bit more above here, but we're a whole lot lower than here, if that makes sense. So we got, you see the difference between up here and down here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to accomplish tax mitigation by flattening the curve, if you will, to avoid future taxation in the future. But you don't want to ever say, I'm going to pay more in tax today to avoid tax, a lower tax burden in the future. So let's say it's going to be like this. All right, let's just say right now we're up here and we're going to be in the future. All right, well, what we don't want to do is we don't want to say move this up. We don't want to move this up so we can pay even less in the future. That doesn't make any sense. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. And I tell you, if I may, I talked to a guy the other day, a great guy. Most of the people I talk to, I said, don't do Roth conversions because they're going to need money from their portfolio before they take Social Security. Essentially, that's the same thing as a Roth conversion. I mean, it's literally not the same thing. But remember the point about, let me show you what I'm talking about. You got boink, boink, boink. So you got Roth, IRA, taxable. So this is always the way it is. We got your taxable account, brokerage. You got your IRA is always bigger. And then we got your Roth. Remember, the point is not to get the money from here to here. The point is to get this money out. And we're trying to get this money out. If we can put it over the Roth, that's great. But that's secondary. The primary thing is to reduce this account before Social Security kicks in, before RMDs kick in, and certainly before your better half dies. The point is we're trying to reduce our IRA so we don't leave it to a surviving spouse. It doesn't get hit with Social Security, add taxes for Social Security and certainly RMDs. So basically from the year 60 to 70, man, is when we're really trying to pull our money down from our IRA. And if there's a little bit of wiggle room, by all means, do Roth conversions. It probably won't be that big of a deal. But remember, the point isn't to do the Roth conversions. The point is to reduce the IRA. I'm telling you, that's the point. And what happens is people say, look, I need $50,000 a year to live on. I'm like, all right, well, take it from your IRA. It's going to cost you $60,000 because net of taxes, you're going to net $50,000. And you're like, okay, so now I'm basically bordering the top of the 12% tax bracket. If I convert another $50,000, that next $50,000 is you're going to pay tax at 22%. So let me, again, draw this out. So we're like, okay, I'm at the top of the 12% tax bracket right here. I'm at the top of the 12% tax bracket. If I convert 50,000, that 50,000 will be at the 22%. All right, that 50,000 could be at the 22%. That's a 66% increase in taxes. Now, if I'm doing that to avoid paying a 24 to 28 to 33% in the future, that's great. But if I'm only doing it to avoid paying a 12% to 15% tax bracket in the future, this is dumb. Don't do that, if that makes sense. You only pay more tax today to avoid paying even more in the future. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not all that clear on that. And I need to revisit this on occasion. This guy's I'm 57, say 420, and I retired at 62. Right on. Keep rocking and rolling. What do I think about the AMC squeeze? Don't know the first thing about it. What's my thoughts on physical gold and silver? I like it. I think everybody should own it. Absolutely. Will you retire in Georgia? We've been looking at Atlanta, but also taxes, pensions. Your thought, please. My wife and I just talked about it today. I tell you, man, I love Alabama without question. The taxes in Alabama are actually quite reasonable. Alabama's fantastic. I like Georgia. I was just telling my wife ultimately, I like our retirement home will probably be back in Virginia. My wife's from Virginia, lots of family in Virginia. My own brother and his wife and 4 kids are in Virginia. My wife's one of 9. All of them are in Virginia, so one in England and one in South Carolina, and she's looking to move too. Virginia, for my mom's in Virginia. My sister's in New Jersey, so it's closer. Virginia's just got so much going for it. I know it's run by libs, but I'm not all. I said Virginia up. I think the Virginia legislature is. I know the governor is up this year. I think the legislature might be up too. So we might see a rebound on the right in Virginia. But either way, at the end of the day, I don't care. I care about stupid mass and all that stuff. But out in the western part of Virginia, I don't care. And most parts of Virginia is pretty right wing. But there's a lot to be said about Georgia. It's just Georgia's freaking hot in the summertime. It's hot. But I will tell you, my man Ron, citrus trees. There's something to being from Maine about being able to go in your backyard and pick citrus trees that just makes me happy, if that makes sense. So if for where we retire in Alabama, I imagine you can do the same thing. But from where we retire, it's going to be. I'm going to have to grow. And if I can grow citrus trees, that's a big win. I love citrus trees. I love them. But we lived in Phoenix. And what happened is they used to take the Colorado River was dammed off, and that flooded. They'd flood Phoenix, like parts of Phoenix. They had this thing called irrigation. You had this valve that you turn on in your backyard in downtown Phoenix. You turn it on, and that would flood your backyard just once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that. Because the Mormons grew like cotton and tobacco, all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of Mormon population in Phoenix, and when they came. They did all that, the irrigation is fantastic. Anyway, we used to have pomegranates, grapefruits, oranges. Oh, I remember mowing my yard out there, and we had a crappy old yard, but I'd mow it and just be hot, sweating like a pig. But it's a dry heat. You never sweat. Yeah, you don't know what the heat's like in Phoenix until you've been there. And go back and pick up this grapefruit. It was freaking nuts how good that was. Oh, the pomegranates. Oh, it's heavenly. For a kid from Maine, oh, it's like nothing. There's nothing more heavenly than that. And I love it. And my man Ron, he's growing bananas. He goes, dude, I've never had a banana like I've had off my own tree. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He said he cut it down. It was green. I thought bananas always, I never knew this, but I guess bananas don't turn yellow on the stem. I didn't know that. And I'm not sure. This is what we talked about. He didn't say that's true. He just said he cuts them down when they're green. He puts them for about a week in his kitchen. They get some natural light, and he goes, dude, it's the best thing you've ever had in your life. I said, man, if that doesn't make you freaking happy. Oh, man. Of course, now you don't have my beautiful wife, so I get it. You can't be as happy as me. You know what I'm saying? Man, my wife she is, oh, my goodness. I can't believe it. We've been married. We're just talking about this. We've been married since 1999, so we're going on 22. I told her, I said, something, Shar? I said, nice thing about us is I think not only does she get more attractive to me every year, but it's like we grow together. I feel bad for people who grow apart, man. That sucks because we're growing together, she and I. Now, she also tells me told me the other day, we were getting in an argument about something with the kids. And she goes, what'd she say? She goes, it's like, oh, it was funny. I can't, that cracks me up. All right. Yeah, right on. Kevin says, 100%. I completely agree with Kevin. He looks at his emergency fund and a savings account as an insurance. I completely agree with that. Yep, right on. Yeah, I don't know my retirement spot yet. It's I think what we'll end up doing is we'll probably do an Airbnb if they still allow it, 1 month a year up in Maine or something like that. I could never live in full time in Maine again. As much as I miss the state, the fall, it won't even be in the summertime. It'd be in the fall. There's nothing better than the fall in Maine. It's nuts how good that is. But the winters, like I was talking to Ron, he's from New Hampshire. The winters up there are long, they're gray, and they're dark. And when I mean long, I bet y'all didn't. Let me look. I'm going to show you guys a map. So check this out. Map of the U.S. The U.S. States of America, baby, where we go mask free because we believe the science. Take that, Canada. USA for USA. USA. All right, so we're going to show you a map of the good old U.S. of A. All right, and I want to show you something here. So we are still, notice, that's where old Josh is from, right there. That's where old Josh is right now. We are still in the same time zone, right? Still in the same time zone. Maine, Georgia. Now, what does that show you? That shows you that in the wintertime, the sun goes down early up here, all right? The sun rises early, but it goes down real early. And so what happens is I did not know this until I was watching my man, the Millennial Gardener out of North Carolina. I did not notice. Like onions grow, if you're in a short sun area, which is we are here, short sun, onions don't grow. You need to get a short sun onion. If you're in a long sun, which is up here, which what that means is if you're in north latitude, northern latitude, you get longer days in the summer and longer nights in the winter. I did not know that. I mean, I knew we had longer nights in the winter. I did not know that also meant longer days in the summer. And if you're in a southern, whatever it is, latitude, you get shorter days, if that makes sense. So we're in a short sun here, long sun there, which also means the converse of that, long winters. And winters are cold and they are dark. It's depressing. I'm going to tell you. I mean, you got to be tough skin to live up there in the wintertime. I'm telling you right now. But it's worth it when the fall comes. But then the fall's here for 4 weeks, and then you're right back to winter. Oof. All right. Hey, my man Al's back from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. LAX turn off the lights in elevators to save energy? What? LAX turn off the lights in the elevators to save energy. Toilets and bathrooms are dirty and the toilets didn't flush. Dude, that's nuts, man. It's like what did the socialists used to light their how did the socialists light their homes before candles? Anybody know? How did the socialists light their homes before candles? I'll put that in there. Yeah, Pulverize say whatever. He's not. Nah, man, Pulverize not idiotic. I'm a big fan. First time, long time. Right. Damn, that's nuts, man. I fear fearmongering. Banned. Ron, we're gonna ban you for fearing fearmongering. Right on. I'm counter fear porn. Exactly. I have a family deductible of $22.50 the max. Can I contribute to an HSA? I don't know. I mean, do you have a high deductible health plan? Laugh or curve, man. Yeah, exactly. Right on. I agree. Continue to save after retirement. I don't know, Vinyl. Yeah, Vinyl, you who knows that? All right, here we got Stu. All right, a TSP question. Have fun 60% G, 20 in C. Retiring this December. Should I put all in G now? I'm assuming you're going to have a pension and you're also going to get Social Security. So obviously I can't tell you what you should do. I would not. I mean, look, man, you're going to have pension, Social Security. You're going to have the supplemental pension as well until you're 62. You have FEHB, Federal Employee Health Benefit. I mean, at some point, you got enough. I mean, look, unless they're lighting cigars with $100 bills, I have a sneaky suspicion you get more income coming in than you're spending. We're pretty doggone close, so I wouldn't do that. No way. All right. Hey, Jill, why you're late? Unacceptable. There's Josh. Oh, John Freeburn. All right. Looks like he's at, what's that, Falcons game maybe? Looks like it. All right, 61, retiring this year. He has a pretty good amount of money. His 401k. He wants to convert to Roth. I'm in 22% tax bracket. Would you fill the top of 24% each year? Consider going to 32%. I would not. Well, I mean, I consider going to 32%. I would not do it. I mean, the difference between 32, 24 gets you up to freaking 330, brother. Yeah, man. I mean, so you got $160,000 to convert before you're to stay at the 24. I mean, if you're going to go an extra 10,000 over it, that's fine. But I mean, I think 160,000. Remember too, by the way, no, he's not. He's only 61, so he's not yet Irma. Irma's not breathing down his neck. He's got 2 years where he's got to worry about Irma. I still wouldn't do it. Chris says, should I move his company 401k from Fidelity to Vanguard? Schwab. Dude, Schwab's freaking awesome. I love Schwab. I don't get paid on it. You guys can. If you open Schwab accounts, you can make up to, I think it's $500. I have if I can remember to put the link in the show notes, I'll do it. Can I find that? Yeah, I don't feel like looking for it right now. Let me see if I can't. All right, hold on a second. Let's go to Schwab. I'm an 8-man. You ever heard that song by the Kinks, 8-man? Oh man, I'm a King Kong man. I'm an 8-man. I don't want to die in a nuclear war. I don't want to. What do you say? I am an 8-man. I'm a strict vegetarian. Because he's saying so sophisticated. He's a strict vegetarian. All right, I'm going to put a link in the show notes, amigos, about if you open an account through Schwaber, you can get, like, I don't know, I think up to 500 schmackers. I got to figure out what that song was. Such a good song. Let me see, hold on a second. 8-man. I wonder if I get banned, Kinks. If I sing the lyrics, do I get not banned? Do I get a strike? All right, let's see. 8-man. 1 second. Lyrics right here. Kinks were good and they were bad. Like when they were good, they were freaking awesome. When they were bad, they were horrible. All right. I think I'm so sophisticated because I'm living my life like a good Homo sapien. Oh, let's read it together, everybody. Oh, let's sing it together. And someone's gonna say, "Why aren't you talking about finance?" This is finance, man. That's freaking Kinks. 8-man lyrics. All right, so we're going to read the 8-man lyrics. I think I'm so sophisticated because I'm living my life like a good Homo sapien. But all around me, everybody's multiplying and they're walking around like flies, man. So I'm no better than the animals sitting in the cages in the zoo, man, because compared to the flowers and the birds of the trees, I am an 8-man. Right here's my favorite thing. I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized because I'm a strict vegetarian. And with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politicians, I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't want to die in a nuclear war. I want to sail away to a distant shore and make like an 8-man. All right, right here. And man's about evolution. He's created this city in the motor traffic rumble. But give me half a chance, I'd be taking off my clothes and living in the jungle. Because the only time that I feel at ease is swinging up and down in the coconut tree. Oh, what a life of luxury to be like an 8-man. I don't know why I got that song in there. We were listening to it, Charlotte and I, on the way back today from my man Ron's house. Hey, the Kinks are freaking. I mean, like when they were good, they're all. The lead singer, one of the guys on the Kinks, a big libertarian, by the way. All right, so that's cool. All right. My man retired 70-30 stocks and bonds. Of course, all depends on your comfort with risk. Right on, man. Thoughts on keeping those? I'm all. We already talked about this guy. He's changed his name. He wasn't Little Dipper before, but he's still kicking butts. All right, so we'll see what old Little Dipper does here, because I think he changed his avatar, or at least his name. All right, so we got John. Are you okay with ever paying Roth conversion taxes from 401k proceeds? If yes, I am. So should you? I mean, he's not saying should you. He's saying, are you okay if you're pulling 100,000 to convert to Roth? If you take 120,000 out of your IRA, and thus 20,000 goes to taxes. Yes, if you're over 59.5. Exactly, John. So good job, brother. I want to retire at 62 at lower tax bracket. Right on. Good. Yes, exactly. Principal's office now. Take your punishment. Yeah, I know, Eric. Crazy out tonight. What's going on? I'm considering VWIN. Good. So let's this guy's getting on my nerves. So let's get rid of him. All right, there's Stu. What funds are they in? Okay, he's talking to him. What is the best way to handle an ESOP? Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. All right. I contributed my Roth, and then I realized I made more. What should I do? You're going to have to get that money out, man. Absolutely. The true hyperinflation Germany started with the Weimar government taking 10% of all assets in December 20. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I did not know that. They started taxing 10% of all assets. I was listening to a great Charlotte and I on the way down about the Irish potato famine. Very interesting, actually. Very, very interesting how that happened. So I wish I could blame it all on the government. There's a lot to be said about the government, but there's also, obviously, we have the blight on the potatoes. There's a lot of blame to go around. Let's just put it that way. But very interesting. Yeah, I just asked him, Eric, right on. Yeah, I mean, look. All right, so I saw an article they say inflation may reach 20%. Okay, Jill. They always saying this could happen. I mean, literally always. It doesn't, just because someone's saying it could happen means it doesn't mean it's going to. I mean, I could see inflation going 10% for sure. Sure. I mean, simply because of the short-term bottleneck in supply curve. I'm just telling you right now, man. I mean, I certainly could be wrong, but we've experimented like we'd never had before. That's going to have impact for sure. But what I'm saying is, just because some guys say it could be 20% doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at GMO. Jeremy Grantham, that clown from GMO. So they've been saying the stock market is going to give us negative returns for years now, and yet people still take these guys seriously. He's not only is he wrong, but he's a climate change doomsdayer too, and they take him seriously. Why? Because he's got money. He's got money. Money buys publicity. That's all there is to it. So yes, I would actually expect a short-term inflationary bigger than what we're used to, for sure. Just because what happened last year, it's weird. I don't understand why this is so. I'm not yelling at Jill here because Jill I like, but here we were plugging along, typical, 1 to 2% inflation each and every year. All right, and then all of a sudden we fall off a cliff because of shutdowns and Fauci. All right, that's a Fauci curve, by the way. All right, so we fall off a cliff. Now we go here. All right, well, inherently that. Maybe I can do it like this. Oh, there we go. So we go here, and inherently that's inflationary. Hugely that's inflationary. Does that mean we're right back to where we were? Not on a lot of fronts. Not on a lot of fronts, for sure. Not employment, that's for damn sure. But I mean, when you fall off a cliff and you go back like that, this is hugely inflationary. It's up from down here. Is it up from down here? Some things are, I grant you, because that's what happens when supply and demand gets corrupted, for sure. But this is what drives me. It's kind of like I said last year in March. I said PE ratios were way low. I said that looks attractive, doesn't it? But the reason it looks attractive is because earnings were based on the trailing 12 months that ended in the previous quarter. Price was based on today. So what happens is you have two competing entities. You have earnings that just went like that, the trailing 12 months. So it went basically December 2019 was reported earnings. December 2019 was reporting earnings. Price, March 20. So price was up here. Oh my goodness, another swastika. So price was up here and then it fell off a cliff. Earnings were right here based on December 2019. Price was based on March 2020. Earnings were not based on March 2020 because we did not have first quarter numbers yet. And as such, the PE ratio is like 5 and 6. It looked insanely cheap. But the reason the PE ratios were so cheap is because we were basing on December 2019 before the shutdown started. And then you see the earnings falling off a cliff because the first quarter is down 5% GDP, second quarter is down 33% GDP. And of course, the PE ratios did not maintain at 6 and 5. It's the same thing with inflation. A short-term shock. It's all there is to it. Could it happen perpetually? I just look. I mean, absolutely could be wrong. I highly suspect it won't. We'll see. Yeah, fear drives the media. Right on, Rob. Oh man, I know. You know, it's illegal in many states to actually wear a mask. By the way, it's crazy. It's illegal because I think you're in Minnesota. It's illegal to wear a mask in Minnesota, other than if you're wearing a mask for COVID. Dems say they don't want to look like conservatives. Like, yeah, right on, exactly. Chiang Kai-shek, that's what it was. Right on, Chris. Right on. You will get paid dividends of the market. Yes, they certainly can cut dividends, Paul. They do it many times, man. So yes, it is true. You will still get paid dividends if the market goes down as long as I pay them. One of the reasons I do like dividends, by the way, or preferred stocks too, in particular, but dividends generally speaking, because if they have preferred stocks, they have to pay preferred as long as they pay 1 cent in dividend. So what you'll notice is you'll see preferred still getting paid well, while the dividend stocks are going down on a penny. And just look at what happened with banks and the odds. It was nuts, man. And after the financial collapse, they're still paying 1 cent, 5 cent dividends because they had to keep the preferreds. It was very, very interesting how that worked. But remember, dividends get cut too now. Don't forget, dividends get cut. I mean, market chaos, that doesn't just happen for 3 months or hell, a month like what happened last year. Dividends get cut, man, for sure. Especially if they can't borrow, especially if they're borrowing to pay dividends. That's my big, you got to see if their debt levels are growing. If the dividends are increasing and debt levels are growing, that should be a red flag for sure. Because how are they financing those dividends? Well, they're literally not financing with cash flow; they're financing with debt, and that's a concern. I'm just telling you right now. You can't finance dividends with debt until the cows come home. At some point, something's got to give there. Oh yeah, Devin knows. Well, hell, we went to Dunkin' Donuts, got 2 coffees today, Charlotte and I. It cost $4.50. It's like, damn, girl. Charles says inflation. Man, that's painful. Yep. Put money dollar cost average, 100%, man. Drug companies, they're good investments, good cash flows, pay nice dividends, and they own the world. Let's just cut to the chase, Vinyl. They own everybody. No one ever is going to be against the drug companies, that's for sure. At least when it comes to the V, if you know what I'm saying. Do McDonald's fries really have a picture of a syringe? Oh, no way. No, man, that can't be true. McDonald's fries. No way. That's freaking. I'm looking it up. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I don't want to die in a nuclear war. I don't want to. I'm not seeing anything there. Yeah, I don't see that. I recall the days I was loaning banks on a repo agreement at 14%. No kidding. Oof. So Kevin, you should one of these days tell us about the whole repo. Remember last year? I guess last year in January, the repo market. We're all gonna die because repo. I never forget the first time I heard that. I said, "Why are people worried about repossessing vehicles?" I said, "Are that many people late on their loans that they're going to repo? Like repo, you're repossessing a car. That's what that meant." I've been in this business a long time. I never heard what a repo was. And I'm not ignorant about it. I mean, I'm ignorant about the repo market that Kevin was in, but I was like, repo. When everyone's talking about repo, I was like, what the hell is this? And I mean, all these people say, you don't know, they're blah, blah, blah. It's like, huh? And I remember saying 3 months ago, have you even heard, dude, what a repo was? Because I hadn't. And people like, oh boy, we'll try. All right, the better half is texting me. You know what happens when she texts? Is you drop everything and you take care of the lady. And she just texted me if I could try one of our apps here. So we got this pool. We got this way to turn on the water and the stuff in the by the app. Not letting me. So we had Chloe had a friend over, so we had the pool, the sauna thing, warming up yesterday, and then we're trying to turn it off. It's not working. Hold on a second. So remember remember everything revolves around electricity. What's the word I'm looking for? Electricity, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. That's okay. There's electricity. You don't need gasoline. Right. VYM. God, guts, and guns and food, real assets. Yeah, 100%. Folks on a retirement rejected. Yeah, because nothing you can do about it anyway. That's the point. There's nothing you can do about it. Unless you're at, oops. Mary Beth said, unless you're, oh man, all right. I'm the TSP. G Fund is great, but honestly, anyone under 50 will have FERS, annuity, and the Social Security supplement should not have a lot. I completely agree there. Fort Myers was awesome last week. My daughter was in Clearwater, known as Masked Up. It's awesome. Nicholas says, when I pull all my money out of TSP and IRA, how long do I have to convert to Roth? There's no time limit. Right on. Ed grew up in northern Maine. Yes, long winters, but enjoy the different sports outside. Yeah, no, I understand, man. I mean, I didn't skate that much. I loved the going and walk around the birch trees in the winter and stuff. My dad used to do maple stuff, maple syrup, that kind of, I didn't like that. But no, I mean, I get it. It's cold. There's no other way around that. And it's I remember I played I hated football. I was no good, but I was on the team because I never quit. And I just said, because once you start, I never really quit. I never was that good at anything. I just, I don't quit. I always liked come, October when the sun was set early. Practice would get done early because we didn't have lights in the field or anything like that. It was awesome. Did Doggy Coin go up or what? I don't even know what. I think it's at 50 cents. Is that what I read today? What's Bitcoin doing now? It was down to 44 last I did. I'm a big vegetarian. Don't want to die in a nuclear war. I don't want to something. I live like an ape man. Ooh, Bitcoin's at 45. Woo, get crushed. What's Doggy Coin at? I have no idea. James lives in Vero Beach. Remember the Vero Beach Dodgers, James, back in the day? Bitcoin is regulated by the CFTC. That's not the options. What's the options, Harry? The options in Chicago Board of Options, CBOE, right? Yeah. CFTC. What the hell is that? I forgot. Yeah. So, Harry, what did Elon sell Tesla at? Because you were saying, brother man, that old Elon didn't sell. Turns out we think he did, right? Harry, man, Elon, he's playing you for a sucker. Of course, with that said, you're still probably way up in your Tesla stock. So, good to be you, even when you're down, but you're still way up where you were. I grant you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tom. If he's running his mouth and unwinding, how is that? That's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Vortex. Freaking Airbnb at a month at a time. That we don't have to worry about it. Look, man, my head is so freaking screwed on wrong. I'll say, yeah, Airbnb for a month. This is nice. Let's buy a house. I'll probably pay debt for it, and I'll be retired. I'll be doing YouTube channels. Don't do debt. Don't do debt. And I'm sitting around a pile of debt. Oh man. Mike says they had some pineapples today, and it literally occurred to me about in 2 hours ago. So I didn't eat any. Oh man, pineapples. Oh, I love pineapples. Musk is a fool, or because they're still holding Bitcoin while he's talking it down. Oh, that's gotten crazy. All right, looks like you guys. I love when you guys talk amongst yourself. That's awesome. Xiao says most people getting pension won't be getting Social Security. No, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, is it true that could happen? Anything's true. That's not true right now. No way. Jill says if you're in the 12 to 15% tax bracket, 100%. I would contribute as much as you can to a Roth without 100. Jill, spot on. If you're above 24, definitely deduct for the 401k. But on that, as much as that's spot on, Jill. I don't care what they say about those Indiana ladies. They got a good thing going on up there. Yes, right on. Don't deal with any of the hassles of secondary home ownership. We have 2 seasons here in New York. Winter construction. Yo, man. Marie! Schwab! Why do you keep harking on this, man? I tell you all the time. You email me, I said, I don't get it. What's wrong with Schwab? I mean, look, you don't have to do Schwab. It seems like you have this animosity towards this company or something, because every time you ask and I tell you, you're still asking. I mean, I'm not saying, don't listen to what Jill says, but I don't get it. Why you, what's the aversion to Schwab? It's weird to me, frankly. And it's okay. There's an aversion to Schwab that you have, and I'm not sure what it is, because I love Schwab. I mean, is Vanguard good too? Yes, Vanguard. I like Vanguard. I love Schwab. I like Vanguard. I love Schwab. That's just so. Mexico have dirty restrooms. Well, LA, right? I mean, my goodness, what the hell's going on? I wonder if the restrooms in Puerto Rico, like Al, because Al's from Puerto Rico. Before candles, they use electricity. Exactly. Yep, you got it. Oh man, David Stewart. Right on, right on. Even pulverizer. How does socialists light their homes before candles? They use electricity. Man, you got some smart people here, man. Yep. Good stable value fund. Vanguard doesn't have a stable value fund. All right. Let's see. UTG Better pays dividends 6.2% monthly annual rate. And he's a coastie, Jimbo is, so he would know a thing or two. All right, Tim's getting out of here. Big old baby. Can't stay up late with the big boys, Tim. Gotta go night-night, son. Should I return a 100K TSP COVID withdrawal or invest it and pay the taxes? Can you return it? I mean, is that still? I don't even know if that's still possible, Daniel. I mean, That's a tough one, man. I had thought about that myself last year, and I said I'm not going to do it. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. Look, I'm kind of lazy when it comes to this. Once I do it, I'm done with it, frankly. So look, if you were me, I say, look, I already did it. I'm going to bite the bullet, pay the taxes over the next 3 years, right? You can do it last year, this year, and this year, and the next year. But I don't know your circumstance. But I just, the more paperwork you hand to the IRS, the more likely you're going to be audited. So I just don't know. I'll view veterans like Josh. I appreciate DB Douglas Fresh. Living on a Thin Line. Ooh, I could hear that song. Hell, man. I remember you paid for my college, man. Ooh. Listen to some AC. There's Bon Scott dudes right there. Let me hear Living on a Thin Line. Hold on just a second. But I don't remember that song off the top of my head. A Thin Line. The Kinks. Kinks was punk was cool to be punk. This is, if memory serves, this is a pretty good lyrical song. Yeah. There's no England now. Yeah. This is good. Oh, yeah, dude. Freaking the Kinks. Oh, this is a good band, man. Yeah, man. The Kinks are punk for it's cool to be punk, man. I tell you, I freaking fantastic. Way underrated. Way underrated. We were cranking out some Led Zeppelin on the way down. I hadn't heard Led Zeppelin in a long time. I need a Led Zeppelin was an incredible band. There's no other way around that. It just said, just an amazing band. Not as good as Black Sabbath, we all know that, but man, Led Zeppelin, the Kinks, the Who, just so many bands out of England that just kicked ass and take names. Like what made England a tiny little island country? You know what I'm saying? The jewel in the sea. What made England such a good musician's place? They like the old Police, for heaven's sake. When they were ska, just ska-ish, and then they became stupid, I grant you. But man, what was it about England that just took the black rhythm and blues from America and put some intense rock and roll in there and just went nuts? Oh, jeez Louise. It's fantastic. It's amazing to me. It's kind of like you look at, Detroit back in the late 60s, 60s and 70s, just so many bands out of this one area. It's like a magnet for insane musical talents. Nuts. Crazy. Oh my goodness. Ooh, okay. Have you done a video using annuity factor to calculate how much someone can draw from savings? There's something to consider. Have I done a video using an annuity factor to calculate how much someone can draw from savings? I'm not sure what you're saying, man. Oh boy, my singing made your little poodle fall asleep. It's supposed to make him get up and yell. Say, yeah, rock and roll, baby. Take that, Canada. Canada had Rush and Triumph. A couple of okay hardcore bands, not much. They had Youth Brigade. No, not Youth Brigade. They were originally from Canada, and then they moved to California. Beyond Possession was from Canada. They were pretty good. That was a metal band, like skate-ish metal band from Canada. They were pretty good. Canada. What else they had from Canada? Rush, Triumph, Beyond Possession. Seems like I'm missing one or two. Sounds like Charlie singing The Nightman. I'm not sure. Does Charlie have a voice of an angel, Javier? Yeah. Jake's getting his pension check and Social Security check every month. Being retired is freaking awesome. King's low budget. Airborne Misfit. We spend most effort moving money from 401k before RMD. Missed out on Roth due to income. Man, right on, man. I was cracking up thinking about some reaction would be if they tune in the channel while you're singing. They would be laughing, C.R. Hardy. They'd be like, damn, that guy should sign up for, well, I don't know what album, he should be the singer for he should be the next Robert Plant. Let's admit that. The next Robert Plant right here. Wouldn't your returns be affected when you bought the fund at the top versus the bottom on QYLD? Yes. I mean, if you bought it, actually, I meant to do this on my video. Let's go to Portfolio Visualizer. We're going to type in Q. So let me show you what I'm doing here. Nope, that's not what I'm doing. What am I doing? That's not what I wanted to do. All right, hold a sec. Come on. I don't want that, man. Killing me. Stop. There we go. Nope, don't want that. Don't want that. There we go. Don't want that. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. But why does it keep bringing this thing up? I don't want that. Yeah. All right, there we go. We're going to go to. All right, let's go to Portfolio Visualizer. We're going to type in QYLD, and there we go. We're going to put 100% in it. Let's just see. I have literally no idea. I should have done this in my video I did on it. I forgot, to be honest with you. All right, so the global NASDAQ 100 cover call ETF. All right, so we started with $10,000 in December 2013. We're sitting on 18,531 now. So we're up 80%. That's not too bad. That's reinvesting at dividends. All right, so reinvesting. And now a lot of people, I love the yield. Well, you love the yield, you're inherently not living on the yield. You're reinvesting in that. Nothing wrong with that. But why are we buying it? If we're buying it for the yield, inherently that means income, right? And if we're income, then we want to what? We want to spend it. If we're buying it to reinvest, I challenge that, but okay. I mean, yeah, I get that. So let's compare this to the S&P 500 by Vanguard, because you could literally invest in the S&P 500 by Vanguard. I have no idea what the difference is going to be. Let's see here. All right, so the S&P 500, 10,000 in S&P 500 is 26,000 today. So not a huge difference, I grant you. But this right here is 18,000. So that's still pretty significant. We got compounded annual growth rate 8.63 for the QYLD, 13.87 for S&P 500. So that's pretty significant. All right, now what if we're pulling money out? It doesn't allow you to pull only withdrawal. We're just going to pull 5% a year, adjusted for inflation. Because remember, the yield was like 11%. Let's do 6% a year, and we're going to adjust for inflation. Rebalance. Yeah. All right. So we're going to draw 6% a year, adjusted for inflation. All right, there we go. Because remember, the yield right now is 11%. Back then, I think it was 10, something like that. But anyway, let's see what we come up with. I have no idea. Yeah, so here we're at $12,000 in portfolio one, and the S&P 500 are at 18,188. So you can see we're starting to get a substantial difference between the two, and it's only going to get worse simply because now this portfolio is losing value as we speak. It was at 25 as issued, now it's at 21. This portfolio is gaining value as we speak. Now, could this drop? Sure. What happens if this drops? Well, this is going to drop too because it's covered calls on stocks. I mean, it's the same thing. So that's a pretty sizable difference. So if you're reinvesting it, you didn't keep up with the S&P 500, not by any stretch. We could say, well, the S&P 500 is a bad proxy, had such a good 10-year track record. I get this, but was QYLD investing? Invest on the S&P 500 per se, but invest in NASDAQ stocks. Tesla's in the NASDAQ, Amazon's in the NASDAQ. It's Microsoft. It's 4-letter. I think Microsoft's in the NASDAQ. It's got a 4-letter ticker. So it's investing in NASDAQ stocks. So you could say this might not be, apples to apples. Pretty doggone close, man. My man Jerry from GWETF channel said they don't even invest in individual stocks to write calls on. They're just writing calls off the index now. All right, so it's literally it's almost apples to apples, and the index in this case would be the Nasdaq. Point being, look at the difference, man, and that's on an up market, and on a down market, it's going to get ugly. Anyway, that's just all there is to it. So anyway, people can do it. I don't care. I find it anytime I'm saying I'm investing it for a high yield, I say there's a reason it's a high yield. All right, yeah, right on, James. Appreciate it. Yeah, potato famine is how we ended up in Canada and the U.S. Lots of Irish. That's why Halifax is it Halifax or Prince Edward Island? I think it's Halifax, Nova Scotia. More Gaelic speakers than anywhere in the world. I think even than Ireland. I don't know, is the economy this bad? I don't know, man. It's a K-shaped economy. I mean, we kicked ass, took names last year. Lots of people did not. So we were on the K. Lots of people were on the downside. It's horrible. Barbell TSP. Would you base a 4% with a 4% withdrawal? Would you base the 4% on the total sum or just the equity side? I'd base on the total sum without question. Why are we using a 4% withdrawal rate? Yeah, 100%. There were people in 2016 that said the market was overvalued. That worked out great for them. They were saying that in 2010. I mean, literally, Medic, I was sitting there in Phoenix reading my man Ed Easterling's book, Probable Outcomes, and he was so big using the CAPE ratio. And I bought into a hook, line, and sinker, and it was wrong. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be right at some point, but that's in 2011. I was sitting on we're in Phoenix, Arizona. We were living in New Jersey at the time, sitting over Easter. We're sitting at they had like a resort on a Squaw Peak Parkway. And it was fun. I remember reading Probable Outcomes by Ed Easterling from Crestmont Research. And he cited all this stuff by Schiller about the CAPE. I said, this is impossible. The markets are too overvalued. Fast forward 10 years and we missed out because I didn't. I mean, I still stayed in stocks. I didn't have that much, but I still stayed in. But if you missed out, you can never recapture that, man. It's freaking, you can never put the toothpaste back in the thing. All right. Can't find own video on gifting property before death versus after death. Yeah, Pennsylvania does have a big time inheritance tax. I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I've been meaning to do a video on that. Let me show you. I got it right here. Here's a good old state of PA. 0 to 15% inheritance tax, depending on who is getting the property. So, I mean, gifting. Remember, gifting isn't taxable while you're alive unless you give over $5 million or whatever it is, because you have annual exclusions of $15,000 on gifting, but you still have lifetime exemptions up to like $5.25 million. So if old Denny wants to give me $100,000, it's not taxable to him. It's not taxable to me. If Denny gives it to at my death, it could be. Certainly could be part of his estate. There's no estate tax really, but it's also going to be part of his of my inheritance tax for sure if I lived in Pennsylvania. Heritage and my voice are all right, so deflation is good for bonds. So that's just a fact, Lynn. Inflation is bad for bonds. Yeah, I really got to rethink that. It is in the overall economics textbook and financial textbook, inflation is bad for bonds. On a real world perspective, though, inflation is bad for bonds. The question is inflation worse for bonds than the potential market decline of stocks? And we just look at 66 to 82 in the US of A. 66 to 82 was the worst time for stocks net of inflation because the inflation was quite bad. I think the Great Depression, even net of inflation, I don't know, but it was a bad time. So the Great Depression was literally deflation. That's why they call it a depression. 66 to 82, the time of our high inflation, not hyperinflation, and stocks got killed, man. No other way around that. Relative to inflation. Did bonds do that poorly? Not really, if that makes sense. I'm talking about, I can't remember the direct comparison of bonds, but it can't say there and sit there and say bonds were the the boogeyman during the inflationary time of the 66, 82. You just can't. And then in the deflation time of the Great Depression, bonds kicked ass and took names where stocks did not. So, but just ideally, bonds are great in deflation. Bonds are bad in inflation. That's just a fact. Now, again, every situation is unique, but if we go into inflation with the rates they are today, bonds are not going to do good. I mean, they could, I grant you. I mean, but pure mathematics says they shouldn't do good. And there has to be some other reasoning that they do. But I would expect if we go to inflationary time, bonds are going to get crushed or they'll do poorly. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, that's for estates. Remember that. All right. So your state has a 5-year look back for gifting. If you're trying to go to a Medicaid facility, that's why Sergio doesn't like me. I don't know if he doesn't like me. He's not here much. He knows I don't like this whole Medicaid planning thing, and that he doesn't like that. But if you're on a state trying to get Medicaid, individual states have their look back. IRS is for estate tax purpose. I highly suspect Denny is not going to be looking at federal estate tax. All right. Tim, you already bowed out. Wah! That's why I'm making fun of you, because you're not here anymore to say, I can't stand that Josh. I cannot stand Build Back Better. That's freaking commie crap segment. All right, my friends, I think I can get out of here, man. GE's paying $0.01 a dividend, Harry just said. I don't know where you did that. Yeah, I got Kenny, good question. I need to go back and look. So Kenny says, what did you recall Vanguard predicted? I need to look at what they said, and I hope they haven't taken it down. I'm going to look at the Wayback Machine, it's still there. I don't recall. When I was at USAA, I used to keep all that stuff. I used to have a file Vanguard annual reports for this, and I when I left USAA, obviously all my files did not go with me. I wish I still had that because I had the PDF. So hopefully I can find it and look at it. GMO was predicting horrible crap. Vanguard, not as horrible, but I imagine it wasn't great. But I got to find out for sure. All right, my friends, appreciate you all being here. Thanks for moderating, everybody. It's for some reason, every now and again we get some trolls on here. I'm not sure exactly why. Daniel says, thank you for your viz. Right on, man. On not putting index funds in a taxable account, you saved me a bunch. Wow, I don't get it. For not putting index funds. Well, I did put index funds in a taxable account. You got it, Dickie. Dickie gave me 5 schmackers. He said, good stream. Thanks, Dickie. I'm not sure why he's saying don't put index funds in a taxable account. Build back better. Oh, Tina, right on. Build back better. Right on. That's great. Right. Miles Davis Court. I never liked jazz. Jazz doesn't do anything for me, man. Yeah, jazz not my jam. Not my jam. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, my friends. Mucho gracias. Last day of taxes. Get those puppies done if they ain't done yet. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks now. The day they shut up the valley, my sister looked and cried. The day they shut up the valley, all my childhood died. That's the Kings. Mucho gracias to the Kings.